being joined by a man that we've got to chat with all season long, who, although he did suffer a major knee injury just about a week and a half ago, had surgery, he's on the trail back to joining his teammates in Buffalo. He is currently job shadowing the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, and Brandon Beane. Ladies and gentlemen, future Hall of Famer, two-time Super Bowl champion, host of the Voncast, Von Miller. How are you?
Howdy, guys. How's it going?
Hey, great. How are you? You're back up in Buffalo. I didn't know if you were going to be in Dallas for a while. When did you make the trip back to Western New York?
I came back Tuesday night. They had a couple of guys were in town from. I was supposed to come back on Thursday, but a couple of guys were in town for union meetings for the NFL. They had like a meeting in the NFL. A couple of Buffalo Bills staffers was in, and I just flew back with those guys Tuesday night.
Hey, league meetings are happening here. I was wondering, you guys got a bird going? You guys got a bird going right back to Buffalo? Yeah.
Yeah, I just hopped on it with them, man. I had to take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's a smart play by you, Vaughn. Like, oh, okay, I'd rather you guys spend $40,000 on a plane than me spend $40,000 on a plane. And I'm sure everybody's happy to have you back in the building. Have you started job shadowing Brandon Beane, or what has the day-to-day been like thus far?
No, I haven't yet. Yesterday was Wednesday, and it was crazy because that Wednesday felt like all of my Wednesdays throughout the season, because I don't practice on Wednesdays anyway. I do like rehab, and I work, with Nate and the guys in the rehab room. So it felt like a normal Wednesday for me. I got to see the guys and, go into film and watch film with the guys. So it felt like a normal Wednesday for me. And that'll probably be like, the rest of my days here this season. Whenever I get some opportunity to go up there and talk to Bean and, really get in with those guys, man, I'm going to do that as well.
Smart play. Can't wait to watch it unfold. Go ahead, AJ.
How is I know you're very early on in your rehab, coming off of surgery. What's it like now? Like you kind of know the process and what you need to do, I guess, with this ACL recovery. Like, has that helped you a lot, I guess, early on here?
We just saw a picture of him fucking walking, didn't we? Yeah. You and me both saw that, right, AJ? This dude's walking already?
That's what I asked.
Little hurdles.
Yeah, we saw it. You saw it.
Yeah.
One leg. Is that real? That was fake? That was like one of those Steph Curry videos?
That was real. That was real. And it caught me off guard, too. So when I got surgery with Dr. Cooper, I had the brace on and I was laying in the hospital bed. And I was like, hey, because I'm familiar with the ACL recovery process. I was like, hey, so I'm gonna be in this brace and crutches for 8 weeks. And he said, no, man, we're going to have you out of the crutches in 4 days, and we'll have you out of the brace in 2 days. And I thought he had misspoke. And he was like, yeah, we're going to have you, by the time you go back to Buffalo, you'll be walking in. I want you to walk in when you go back to the facility. I want you to walk in normal gate and everything. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get there, but the very next day we started walking. I didn't really lose any quad mass or anything like that, and those are the muscles that really control the knee. So I didn't lose any of my quad. He had used the same ports that he had used for my first ACL, so wasn't a lot of grinding on my knee, or like I didn't have to heal or anything from that. So started walking 3-4 days after surgery, and I came in, and all the guys were like, man, what's going on? When did you get surgery? You got surgery a month ago? I was like, no, I just got surgery a week ago. So it was cool to like walk in to the facility for the first time and show my teammates, man, that I'm for real and I'm ready to work.
Yeah, and Dr. Cooper wanted you to show the medical staff there too. Like, yeah, just did an ACL last week. He's walking in there. I want you to walk in there. Is that incredibly? You said you thought he misspoke, and hearing you say this, it sounds like bullshit. Like, this is not how this normally goes. Just so people know, like, I had a meniscus thing where they told me to lay down basically for like 3-4 days. That's a meniscus. An ACL, walking 4 or 5 days, the next day, that had to hurt. So was it just incredibly painful, or how was it the first couple of days?
No, it actually wasn't. Which shocked me. It didn't hurt at all. And, Matt and the guys, down with Dr. Cooper's office, we did a really good job rehabbing and really just making sure my quads didn't turn off. And, it was good. You got to learn. It's a learning process, of course, after surgery. But, we hit it hard, and, by that Saturday, I had surgery on Tuesday. And by that Saturday, man, I was feeling comfortable walking around the house without, crutches in a brace. And, by the time I went back on Tuesday, I was comfortable going up and down the stairs of the plane and walking to the airport, walking around the facility. So it's good.
Congrats to you for being an awesome human, obviously constructed in a way that a lot of people aren't. And then congrats to Dr. Cooper, the guy with the fucking cowboy hat, seemingly having it figured out.
Yeah, dog.
He is a dog. Look at this guy. I heard on Sunday you rented out an entire sports bar, stayed for the entire afternoon slate of games and Sunday Night Football as well. Matthew Beauvais is reporting that Von Miller rented out a sports bar in Dallas to watch a Bills game. He was there from noon, 10:30, took a little nap afterwards in a recliner at the bar. This is, so Tuesday to Sunday, that'd be 5 days after ACL surgery, couple days after already walking from a ACL surgery, renting out an entire sports bar. This place is mine now. Did you do rehab in that sports bar that you rented out? And what was the setup like?
So, sports bar, as you can imagine, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people there. So, I was talking to my assistant, Marnie, and I was like, hey, if we can find a place here in Dallas that I can rent out, and I could just bring, my boys and, my family members. That way, I'm not randomly walking into anybody, and I can really just watch my steps. She worked on it, and she found a place called Touchdowns in DeSoto, and they had, recliner chairs in there and stuff. And, she rented out for the whole weekend. And, I told her to tell the owner that, we was going to be there. I wanted to watch all the games, the Bills game, the afternoon game, and the Sunday night game. And he said it was all good. So I brought in my game ready, and I brought in my Normatec, and I just rotated. Throughout the day, I did an hour on the boots. Then I would do 30 minutes on the game ready. Then I would take a 30-minute nap, and then I rotated all the way to 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 at night.
Man, that sounds like the dream setup. You did it right. I'm happy you did that. I'm not going to ask you how much it cost, but congrats to the owner of that place for also having a full day, max day guaranteed. Not that he wouldn't regardless, but Touchdowns seems to be a great spot. Can't wait to stop by there for them doing that for you. And before the boys have a question for you, I have one more for you. When you're talking to Micah on the Voncast, he drops that Jalen Hurts line, and you go, the team, you actually you were kind of taken back by it. While you're having that dialogue, what are your immediate thoughts? And did you know that the entire world was going to react to it in the moment?
No, I didn't. And I try to keep, especially I'm, starting the Voncast, I'm an athlete and I'm doing a podcast. I don't like, the hot takes. I never try to steer my guest in that direction. I feel like if our segment goes viral, it should just go viral just because it's me and you talking. So I do a really good job of talking to the guys before we get on camera, and I tell them exactly what we're talking about on these cars, exactly what I'm talking to you about, before the show. I'm not going to get off these are the questions that I'm going to ask. I might expand on some of these questions, but I'm not going to come out of left field with a question and not give you time to think about it. So we can kind of stay away from the hot takes.
Smart.
And, I did that with Micah. And I like for people to do that with me whenever I go on that show, because I don't like to be blindsided. So I did that with Micah twice. We get on the show, we start talking, and we're staying right on cue with all the talking points that we had. And then all of a sudden, Micah asked me a question, and Micah was like, "So is it Jalen Hurts or the team?" And I'm like, "Whoa." I'm like, man.
You just put me in a hot take spot on my show. This is supposed to be a non-hot take spot. You just put me in a position here all of a sudden.
Yeah, he just put it on me, and I was like, I was kind of taken back, and I was trying to think about, the next, to try to to try to, keep it down. I tried to come up, and he just kept going with it. I was like, man, Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. He's in the running for MVP, and I'm. Whenever I'm talking about guys, I would rather love up on guys instead of create even if it's not true, I would rather just still try to stay on this side of it.
Hey, it's hard to make it to the NFL, Vaughn. It's hard to make people forget how hard it is to make it to the NFL, and then people get on TV and they bury somebody. And once a former player, I think the current players, and I try to remind myself of this while I was playing for whenever I inevitably did this. The current players are like, motherfucker, hey, 100%. We got a lot of shit going on, man. There's a lot of stuff that we have to deal with on a day-to-day. So I think you're in the right vein there, and I appreciate it. And I think everybody else does as well. But I guess there's sometimes where the person you're talking to, they're like, "Hey, I'm fucking cool with it. Hey, I'm cool with it."
Micah is just so different. He's so different. And if you take his Twitter account and the things that he says, he's gonna speak his mind. He's gonna speak his truth. And he's a great player. He's not worried about bulletin board material, getting these guys going or not. He's gonna go out there and play his game, and they play him next week. So it'll be a great game to watch. Cowboys, Eagles. At Cowboy Stadium, Christmas Eve, it's fuel on the fire, man. It's a lot running on that game. It'll be a good game to watch come Christmas Eve next week.
I like him being himself. However, I like the confidence that he already has in himself because of how fucking good he is at football. What do you think about him as a football player? You guys have a good relationship? Are you guys doing the pass rush U stuff together? I assume you are. He's a freak Hey, you and him, when you're talking about like physical specimens, just being able to, you guys are like almost in the same world with that. You probably can only have conversations with each other that not a lot of other people can have. Have you experienced that with him?
Yeah, it was really really cool, man. And I enjoy talking to Micah. I don't like comparisons or anything like that. But when he talks about pass rush and he explains what he's looking at, I think about the same stuff. Like I see myself. I see my mindset in him, and he sees his mindset in me, and it's just so cool to be, 10 years apart, and you see a guy that's so talented and so young, man. And his agent, Dave Mugaleta, like I'm super cool with Dave. I've been knowing Dave Mugaleta my whole career, my whole 12 years. I knew him even before I came in the league, 13 years. So, he always talked about Micah and how cool he was, man. And when we had our conversations, man, it just hit right away, man. I love Micah Parsons, man. I'm a huge fan of Micah Parsons, his game on and off the football field, man. I'm a fan of his mindset, man. Micah he's the truth, man. And when, like I said on my show, when it comes time to pay Micah Parsons, he's gonna have to get his own team, man. That's gonna be the Arlington Micah Parsons for sure, man. He's an incredible talent, man, and I enjoy watching him week by week.
Game changer quick in the NFL whenever he arrived. Game changer quick immediately upon getting there. Tone has a follow-up there.
I do, because Mike is the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, followed by Bosa and Judon, who are leading the league in sacks. I believe it was 16.5, and I think Micah has 12. Do you think it's important for an edge rusher to win Defensive Player of the Year to lead the league in sacks, or does that not matter? Is it the whole game?
I'm
Is it Micah or the team, too? Also, is it Micah or the team, too?
I mean, if you look at we could talk about that for a second. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys defense before Micah got there, they were competitive. They had DeMarcus Lawrence, and they were competitive before he got there. But a little drop of Micah Parsons, and it just takes off. Like in their top five defense with one player. So, I think it's a little bit of both with the Cowboys as well, with the Cowboys defense. But Micah Parsons is just out of this world, man. And I'm a firm believer in winning a sack title and Defensive Player of the Year. They just go hand in hand. They just go hand in hand. If you can lead the league in sacks, they go hand in hand. Obviously that's not the case, each and every year. If you got a guy that's causing forced fumbles and, he's scoring touchdowns, I think a couple of touchdowns can, take a little bit of sacks off the top of it, man. You scoring touchdowns, you're getting sacked, forced fumbles. Man, you making big plays, run plays, and Micah's doing all of this stuff, man. He's my favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year for sure.
A lot of great defensive players this year. Yeah. 5-year low in points being scored, Vaughn. As of like a month ago, we saw that research. It's that. It makes sense. Darius has a question for you, Vaughn.
Yeah, first of all, howdy. First of all,
Howdy,
Vaughn. And then I'm going to ask you what your GM hat on. You obviously had Mike on the Vaughn cast. We were just talking about Bosa, Judon. What are you going to look for as a GM, for pass rushers coming out college, like as far as traits coming out?
The good thing about pass rushers, they come in all shapes, sizes, speed-wise. But what I'm looking for is a guy that has sacks in college. That's a great indicator of a guy getting sacks in the league. If you're a sack daddy in college, you will usually be a sack daddy in the league. And, of course you could – some guys have different levels of competition, but if you're looking at guys in these big conferences in college and they're getting sacks, they're going to get sacks in the NFL. And, you don't always have to go with the top pick. You want guys that's explosive off the ball. You want guys that's bendy. You want guys that can go speed to power. Then you need to put a great coach around these guys too. You need a great teacher, especially early on for some of these pass rushers. So it's not all about picking a great guy. You want to pick great coaches. You want to have a great strength and conditioning coach, athletic training staff, all of these things to really get the most out of your player.
Ty, your question for Vaughn.
Vaughn, how much
Sack daddy.
Yeah, sack daddy is a great term. How much are you not looking forward to just being on the sideline when it's cold as shit and windy this weekend? I mean, much different, obviously, than being in Dallas. And also, when the conditions are really shitty like that, obviously you played in Denver for a long time, so you're no stranger to inclement weather, but how much does that change, like, how you have a rush when, like, a guy like you, your game is really predicated on being explosive and being so fast?
It was weird. In Denver, it gets cold, but it's not windy, rainy, like a little bit of snow and raining, and it's not like that in Denver. It gets really, really cold, but the wind is not blowing, and the sun might be out. It's really, really nice in Denver whenever it gets cold. Here in Buffalo, when it gets cold, it's cold, man. The sun's not out. It's windy, it's rainy, it's gray all day. And when I would talk to the guys, I would say this is our advantage. We're used to this. Of course you don't get used to playing in the cold, but we're used to coming out here each and every day and playing in this environment. Teams are not. We got the Miami Dolphins in, and I'm sure pro teams play in the cold, whatever it takes.
Well, I saw their shirt. Mike McDaniel had a shirt. I wish it were colder.
Mike ain't playing the damn snap.
We play football, and if you're the Miami Dolphins, like you got 3 teams that you have to go play in the cold: the New York Jets, the Patriots, and the Buffalo Bills. So I don't think it's that much of an advantage. But for us and Buffalo, this is what we are. We're the Buffalo Bills, like. We're a cold team. This is just what it's about. So for me, I don't think I'll be out there this weekend. I'm walking and stuff, but I really don't want to risk it, stepping on snow and ice and coming through there. So I don't even know if I'll be able to come to the facility because it's supposed to snow pretty bad, and just walking through the parking lot to get up to my suite, it'll be tough. So I might just, I'm only 2 weeks out, so I just watch it at the crib. But whenever I can get a chance to get back on the sideline, I want to be on the sideline. I want to be in the cold. I want to be out there with my guys.
You wearing North Face? Who was wearing that yesterday? Somebody had a
that was Shaq Lawson.
Full North Face underneath the jersey. That is amazing. And I think I saw Josh Allen had like 4 hoodies on. He was noticeably, locked and loaded. I like seeing. This is awesome. This is amazing with the fur hood. Yeah. I mean, that is fantastic. And also, like McDermott as a coach, seems like he's a hard-nosed dude, right? I think he's like a wrestler or something, a badass dude.
Jim Johnson.
He's cool with you. Every video I see from practice at Buffalo is a good time. It seems like that. The culture there seems to be a blast. Did you expect that coming in or no? Like a North Face under a jersey is not always going to be like necessarily beloved, by some people.
No, it definitely wouldn't. And when I was in Denver, Coach Vic used to hate when Kareem Jackson used to have the huge jacket on over there. But I mean, coaches are different, and there are multiple ways to get the job done. And Coach McDermott, I always felt like it didn't matter who was coaching me. I feel like I'm a coach's dream. Whatever they ask me to do, I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm my biggest critic. I know, like I already know, like when I messed up on film, what I need to be doing, running to the ball, this and that. Like I'm my biggest critic. So there's no coach that can push me to a level that'll have me upset or mad at him or mad at I'm my biggest critic. So coming here, I knew I had knew Coach McDermott was more of a hard-nosed coach. But honestly, when you get here, like he's all about winning. He's all about winning. Like, and if that takes being tough, hard-nosed, he'll do that. If that takes getting off the guys a little bit, he'll do that. Whatever it takes for us to win, that's what he's all about. And that's refreshing to be around, whether it's a tough coach or it's a laid-back coach. Regardless, he's all about winning. And I know, all of my teammates and everybody else here at the Buffalo Bills, organization, they really appreciate that as well.
Hell yeah, they should. Go ahead, AJ.
I know you're going to be shadowing the GM. Like, what do you want to get out of that? Do you have any goals or hey, this is what I need to get to the bottom of this so I can understand this?
You might get a GM job.
Yeah.
Like next year.
Could you imagine? So my biggest thing is every team has star players, right? I mean, some star players are different than others. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs are different than other quarterbacks on teams and other wide receivers on teams. But every team has star players. My biggest vision is how do I get the core group of players? How do I get the Tyrell Dodsons, the Tyler McAfee, the Saran Neals? These guys right here, they are the core foundation of our team, and they're high-level players. So how do we consistently find high-level players like those guys to keep our baseline of our team higher than other baselines on other teams? And that is my biggest thing to really try to figure out. And another thing that I want to figure out too, to be a great GM, you got to be surrounded by great guys. So if you're surrounded by great guys, these guys want to elevate and they want to leave and they want to become GMs at other places too. So how do I create turnover in that area too? How do I consistently have great guys around me? How do I consistently find those gems? Of course, you can find a quarterback and, star receiver, but how do I consistently find those core group of players that make my team, better than other teams?
Hey, Vaughn, not everybody can find a star quarterback.
No.
There's a lot of programs that have been trying for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, those are elite quarterbacks. Those are the anomalies. But every team has a quarterback. Every team has receivers that can get the job done.
Certainly.
Of course, every guy's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or or these guys, or Jalen Hurts. Nobody's like those guys. But, every team has a star quarterback. Every team has star receivers and skill players. How do I find, the core group of guys? This team right here, our foundational players, this is the most talented group of foundational players on a team that I've ever been on. And, of course, I was with the Rams last year, and you got Jalen Ramsey. That was the most stars that I ever been
Pro
on.
Bowl practice there.
Pro Bowl practice. But the core group of players like this team right here, we have more – the foundational players here are the most talented players that I ever been around, and I'm interested to see how do I do that for my organization whenever I get the opportunity.
I can't wait to see you lead a team. I honestly can't. And Brandon Beane has seemingly been the coolest guy of all time while being able to do all of that. I'll be excited to see what you learn from him and what you take away from him. Jeff Saturday was named head coach. Mm-hmm. If you're interning for fucking Brandon Beane and you're Von Miller, hey, did you learn enough, you think, to maybe, boom, fast track up to general manager? Excited for your future, even though you got 5-6 years left. Last question here for you, Vaughn, from a Patriots fan, Boston Connor.
Oh, yeah, Vaughn, what was your initial reaction when you watched Matt Milano saw Mike White in half? Because we all thought that he was actually dead and that he wouldn't be able to play football ever again. And were you also kind of impressed by Mike White coming back in, even though you never actually got to play him?
I was blown away by Matt Milano's ability to not land on the quarterback and not draw that roughing the passer.
That's a big conversation right now.
I was blown away. Like, he came in and hit the guy square in the chest, and then he fell off of the guy, mid tackle. And that's how you want to play. That's how the league, wants to play. That's how they want to encourage guys to start doing that. And you get a lot of talk about, like, it's hard to do that. It's hard to fall off guys. It's hard not to hit him. Like Matt Milano, that's a great example. And Ed Oliver had a great hit on the guy the same way as well.
Yeah.
And, I was just blown away how he was able to get that hit on Mike and be able to fall off the guy. And then another thing, I was impressed with Mike as well. He left, he went in, and usually when they go in, it's over. He comes back out, man. And, those guys, they fought to the last minute. They fought to the very last second on the clock, man. I was impressed, by Mike and, that whole Jets team, man. They got a tough team. I said it earlier in the season, man. They got a tough team, and they're going to be hell to deal with for a very long time. And I was impressed by all of those guys.
Goes in there. Give me a little vitamin T, please. Yep. Okay, when's this going to kick in? Oh, I feel it. Let's go back out there.
That's the type of quarterback you want, man. That's the type of quarterback you want. You're leading your guys, man.
Yeah, you got to find those guys whenever you're a GM. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with the rest of your recovery. It sounds like it's being expedited in every possible fashion because Dr. Cooper in Dallas seems
it's 75% mental,
of course.
Whenever you get hurt, like, it's 75% mental. Your body is going to do what it's going to do. It's just a week-by-week thing. It's 75% mental. You don't want to come into rehab like feeling down or depressed and not get the most out of rehab. And I think another hard way.
Walking 4 days after ACL surgery.
Not everyone's really challenging.
That's fucking incredible.
It is. Another challenging aspect too is
pain.
To go through all of this stuff and have a smile on your face, man. So I want to be example for all of my teammates here with the Buffalo Bills, man. And I appreciate you, having me on the show each and every week, man. You too, AJ, man, and all the guys in the back. The infrastructure of the Pat McAfee Show, man, I love you guys, man, since day one, man. Well, I appreciate you guys, man, and thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. And we never send you the questions, so I'm happy to know that you just assumed that we're not going to try to fuck you.
Yeah.
100%.
Tone tried, though, there with the Defensive Player of the Year.
No.
That whole conversation. Sorry about that. He has a cowboy hat on, though, so I'm sure you know his type. We got to make sure we talk about Twitchmas, though. You're doing a big thing on Twitch still, right, for Christmas? Are we in the middle of that right now?
Twitchmas on Monday,
okay,
December 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm giving away over $100,000 worth of cash prizes, three gaming computers, jerseys, of course, and cards and all type of stuff, man. It's the biggest giveaway on Twitch, and it's only on my channel, man. Check it out.
All right, well, we appreciate you so much for stopping by. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll talk to you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Two-time Super Bowl champ, future Hall of Famer, and general manager of an NFL team, owner of Greener Pastures Chicken Farms, and Twitchmas, starting next Monday, Von Miller. Thank you.